society. And surely it all comes with a package. As we say, being a woman, every woman is affected by the three M's, which is, marriage, maternity, and mobility, which is always there. It is said, journally, that when a woman is born, she's dependent on her father. When a woman is married, she's dependent on her husband. And when she is grown up, she might be dependent on her son. But that is the time probably of the ages we're talking about. These are the thoughts. But the whole thing about it is to tell upon that we all, as parents, raise our daughters to be independent, not to be called as just pretty and beautiful, but more skilled and talented. And it is a watchdog and alarm clock to us that let's be the counterparts. There's never a thing between, men and women. We all have to go together. I mean, trust me, this woman has the men in it. So WOMAN. So we all have to collaborate and go together. So while we talk about, my journey today and probably the challenges I faced or the success journey we had, and I believe so many women who are here or the people who are watching us live, who will be watching us in the future, there are so many people who are voiceless, who cannot share as we are sharing. So I feel it is not me who is sharing my journey here. It is through me, all the women out there who wish to say something on the Poised platform. So while, I begin upon, I'll just say upon, my journey of educationalist of being 22 years, starting with Rev Up Life Skills Unit and, framing curriculum all around in India as well as globe for the schools, colleges, universities, and then being the global chairperson of MentorX Women, heading near about, it is wonderful to see that there are about 1,000 chairperson in MentorX Women who are taking care of each and every domain. You name it and we have it. Gone are the times when women were supposed to be just teachers or, doing something which is related to household. But now, we are there everywhere. And when I say now, it is the scenario since almost 15 to 20 years. I mean, we are there in everything, be it IT, pharmaceuticals, AI, health sector, defense, real estate. I mean, trust me, we have different chambers heads and each one representing a domain area. It is so beautiful to see how women are heading it all. I'll say from the house to the boardroom, they are acing in everything with the cooperation of the society, with the cooperation of the wonderful people like you all. And talking about my journey from Rev Up Life Skills Unit to MentorX to being the mentor of change of Niti Aayog in Government of India. And, I feel there is an ecosystem, though, we are known, for taking startups from ideation to execution stage, and especially women startups. So that, the budding entrepreneur in them, be it any age, they just come up, they just spark up, and they are there. And, they are there to see that there are other fleet of women who are there to pat on their back, who are there to say that, go ahead, we are with you. There's so many subsidies that is provided by the government itself, but we women don't know because we hardly have time, to be skilled, to go for our professional training. We are just prioritizing probably our family, our many things which goes by. And then career also we are doing because that's, our heart, but sometimes it gets sublime. So I feel it's all about making the priorities. I am very happy that on a Women's Day seminar, I see majority men out here who are really, spottingly listening to us. And it is really wonderful. I mean, what an energy that we are here in an ecosystem where we together here to grow upon. So while I mentioned my journey, I'll just say that today is the word when we have to have a harmony between each and everything. Be it the men and women relation, be it the work-life balance, be it, the time you spend with your corporate team, because that is an extended family. I mean, we all are blessed to work. And trust me, the fact that we are working is because of the support of our family we are blessed with, where we're born, we're raised, we're married, and the family in our office culture who are supporting us, who are understanding us. So yes, it's all about harmony. I mean, a woman in harmony with her spirit is like a river flowing. She goes wherever she wants to with her persistence, and she arrives at her destination prepared to herself and only herself. Today's word, we don't need a validation that, we are top on the charts, or this is our turnover, or this is what we are doing. I mean, what we are doing to be here, in the corporate ladder, and how we are managing the home, how we are doing it all. No, we're doing it for our own self. There is gone are the days when I'll say we have challenges like, how to raise funds and how to go for funding, because definitely people raise their eyebrows, specifically when there's a woman who is looking for investment, and unless and until there's a male member in the team, the things are different. I mean, I've myself being the shark in many of the, startup ecosystem, have seen that. But I must say that today is the system when people are coming with open mind. Wherever, whichever domain you are, they are cooperative to you. I mean, yesterday we had a conference at National Real Estate Development Council by the Government of Indian Real Estate. And I must say, I was surprised to see the kind of women power in the real estate today. I'm into that. Again, if I see the education sector here, it is thriving high, the torch bearers, because trust me, believe it or not, whether we talk about the tolerance level, patience level, efficiency, multitasking, I'll not say, with due respect to all the men out here, I'll not say that women are far ahead or something like that. But yes, the fact that they can multitask everything, they can do the same with the same spirit in their office, in their corporate lifestyle too. The tolerance power, the energy levels, everything that they manage upon and they nourish. I'll say it is a 360-degree mentoring that they do. They give a miracle to the life. They bring a life into the universe. They raise them. They manage their homes. They try, to be all happy in front of their family and journally, so that they can keep everyone happy. And still, they manage their goals. They manage their priorities. So I feel, I'll say, like we say in Hindi, nari nari kab tak rahegi abla nari, ye hai is yug ki nari. This is Kalyug ki nari, who is epitome of everything. She's Durga when she wants to. She is a corporate tycoon when she wants to. She's on Times cover. She's on Forbes. She's everywhere. So a woman today, while we talk upon the women empowerment, I'll say woman is already empowered. So empowerment means I am the power. For me, women are already empowered. Yes, if they get support and if they get wholeheartedly, I'll say the ecosystem which supports them in their work style, nothing like it. They are the par excellence in that manner. So let's see what is required, to power up your self. Power your business, power your professions, whatever you're doing, being a woman. So I'll say, not talking about the challenges, I'll talk upon the boons, being a woman. I feel prioritizing yourself, which is very, very important. I see I'm blessed with 2 children, and I see my career as my 3rd child. And that is how I also balance. And I'm sure that is how everyone is balancing here. So I feel women wear an invisible crown wherever they go. The crowns are not made of the gems and the diamonds anymore. They are made of the discipline. They are made of the determination. And, the future belongs to those who believe in beauty of their dreams. So while we talk upon women empowerment, about what is in store for women in the future, I am the positive soul. I talk about possibilities. So I will say that the dreams become reality with the magic of determination and hard work. It is so gratifying, to see the seeds of consciousness everywhere. I mean, the fact that we are sitting on this webinar and people are taking time, this is, all around a support to accelerate women empowerment. And trust me, we at MentorX Women are all there to support each and every woman who has in her, who wants to, convert her passion to profession, who wish to look beyond, who wish to always, maintain their virtue, their identity. So saluting all the women out here. and I'll say the living legends of the era, and that they're building their own legacy. Because you know what you are, yeah, they are observing out, the kids are observing you, the society is observing you, the girls are observing you. So you are the role model naturally, you know, for the entire squad. So I'll say we have to bring in the space. There are a lot of strength which is coming. We are prioritizing. There are a lot of subsidies for the women. There are a lot of network groups that we can join in to see that we are not just sticking to one profession. We stick to one core profession, but we can diversify ourselves. We can be everywhere. And we can join these network groups to groom ourselves. Then there's so many centers for upskilling. I mean, the corporates are providing it so much. We ourselves, we, train so many women out there. So I feel, everything is very favorable for the women. But challenges that I faced, if I do contrast with today's time, I'll say that moment I started upon my career journey around in 2003, possibly, people used to say the education should be gray haired and you should have some oldie in your team, because I was working as my own company, though I belong to a family who ran schools in Dwarka. But I started my own show because I wanted my legacy. And after researching in around 46 countries about Indian education, in higher education, elementary education, I started my own domain. So there were so many challenges which came by age, by demographics, by mobility, and definitely as and when I got married, I got kids, so maternity. So there are many phases of life, but what went through and what kept me going, I'll say, was my network. In today's world, trust me, for men or for women, your network is your net worth. In today's world, your network is your net worth. Nobody is peeping into your houses and in your, what you own, and how you're living upon your standard of living. Everyone wants what knowledge you carry, and everyone here is having massive knowledge. I mean, the network you meet in all the conferences you attend, what you cash in from there, how you grow from your network, that is the catch. That is what happened with me. I have like patents at my name. I co-founded MentorX with my founding president, and many things else happened on the way, many of the research projects, but it was all by network. So I feel network is your net worth. Then the fifth point, I'll say, for women also, it is innovate or evaporate. No matter what, if we are innovating in this age, we are there in the system. But somehow, if we are not innovating and we just say that, okay, we are doing a job for the sake of it, we are going to office, and okay, I'm working, I'm able to manage my home also, and I'm working. But if we're not innovating, if we're not upskilling, there is something which is lagging behind. When we're upskilling ourselves, when we're innovating time and again, the same thing that we're doing, what happens is it sparks us the growth pattern. It pays up our growth pattern. And that is how it goes upon. So yes, I feel there are a lot of, bright opportunities thriving for women in today's era. Challenges will come and go. It will be every time there. The tug of the war will always be there, that woman has to face this, and the life is much easier on the other side. But I feel every gender has their own responsibility, and likewise they have their own accountability. So we have to understand that let's move together. That is what is needed. And while we talk today about my journey, about the ambitions that the women carry, and the challenges, I'll say we women have given birth to humanity. We women dress ourselves in different attires always. A daughter, a wife, a sister, an entrepreneur, a friend. We women, let us our fear go behind us. We have our weakness, we have our shortcoming. And I feel we should admit all our flaws. I feel we should ask for that support that we need. I mean, every woman cannot be that Rani ki Jhansi, and there's no need to be. We ask for support and it is right there. So yes, I mean, we women have our wings. They're already existing. We just have to fly like ever before and celebrate ourselves wherever we can. And I feel, let's celebrate womanhood, let's embrace it. And while I talk upon, I'll say that I just wish that women fix each other crown, men be helpful for the women always as they are. I am always supportive of all the people who have supported in my journey. I mean, there are oodles of names I can say. from my mentors to my network to my family, and I owe to them for who I am. And similarly, if we pass this gratitude note always, I feel there's so many wonderful people. I feel, we decide the people we meet. As we attract the same vibes. So if we really go ahead with the same vibe, same energy, we can do much. We can really do much. So while I talk upon today, we are associated with WASME, Word Association of SMEs and MSME conclaves, even the startup ecosystem, iRise, TIE, for the entrepreneurs, for the education world. Definitely, we are, doing so many extensive modules for upskilling. So I feel and I wish a lot of knowledge for all the women, not just on the sector, on the profession that they're doing, even the financial aspect. There should be no aspect that we say, okay, ye tumse nahi hoga, or women are not meant for this. There can never be a sector like this. Everybody is meant for everything. So it is never gender biased. It is like up to our own, where we want our expertise. Wherever our attention goes, our expertise flows there. I feel that. So be it, our finance, our, banking systems, our innovation, the technology that we are using today, everything could be leveraged if, we women upskill ourselves time and again. So, a message to all the women out there, and also all the men who are supporting women. I feel, may you be loved, may you be respected always. And, life is very short. Just make it happen. Ask for support. Go beyond. Move upon your fears, move upon your inhibitions, move upon your self-doubts, and always look forward to the network which encourages you, and stay away from the network which pulls you down. That's the catch, always and forever. If at all you feel, I or anyone, any of the mentors on board on MentorX can be, a very support, we are all there for, them. And, universities like Christ and, all the wonderful universities who've taken an effort to be here. I feel just keep up be the torch bearer you are, keep it going, because still I feel that women somehow think upon many things else rather than their career decisions. When they take one career decision, there's so many other things, which is behind them. They think it all, they settle it all. And if they have the time, then they give to your career. That thing has to go. Women has to think like a queen who is not afraid of everything, not afraid of failure. Failure is just a stepping stone. So you just try experimenting. And, though many failures are there in everyone's life, I wish you a lot of success story, because when you look back, what life should be, an open book where we can proudly say that failures are also mine, success is also mine. And I'm here to grow, to make all the women with me grow and support each one. I mean, men and women growing in an ecosystem where we need both to thrive for a wonderful journey together. So that is me. And I'll just say that anyhow, if we can be, of help for any of the upskilling workshops, be it finance, be it skill building for the women, I believe we will be there. So trust me, once we are empowering one woman, we are empowering the whole world. We're empowering her family, we're empowering her neighborhood, we're empowering her society. So let's, I'll say rise up this flame and keep it going. Thank you so much for giving me this wonderful session to open up on this International Women's Day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much for sharing your journey. Now I would request Deepika Prasad, madam. She is an insolvency professional, to please unmute the system and please share the journey with all the audience.
Good afternoon to all
Deepika
friends.
Prasad, madam.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to really thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my views and on such an important day, which is the International Women's Day. And my heartiest wishes to everyone across, wishing you all a very, very happy International Women's Day. And I would like here to begin, by just saying that I really like the sentence that Dr. Junaid just mentioned. The crowns are no more, made up of the jewels or the diamonds, etc. The crowns are made up of knowledge, I would rather say determination, and I'd like to add your own will to succeed, to move ahead, and to not give up. The important part here is not give up, because having said everything, at the bottom line is that when we face challenges which are kind of, apparently, seemingly impossible, are the ones exactly where we need to show up our ability and show up our strength and surmount them to ensure, that we as women are really moving ahead. Here, I would like to take this opportunity to share my journey as an insolvency professional. I'm an insolvency professional, and I have done up till now 14 assignments as IRP, RP, and liquidator. And I have also had various challenges while running these 14 assignments. And this is where I would like to take this forum to share these experiences that I have had. Now, insolvency is a kind of rather challenging ball game altogether, where, a company which is declared an NPA comes, and you're appointed as an IRP or RP or liquidator. And the job is to either resolve or to liquidate the company, given the circumstances, given the conditions of the company, and given the financial status of the company, whatever status it may be. And the goal is very clear: maximization of the returns to the stakeholders, maximization of value to each and every stakeholder. Now, the stakeholder could be the person who has invested the money, the stakeholder could, which is rather the banks. The banks who have lent money to the promoters are the major stakeholders. The employees are the stakeholders. Anyone else who's working with these companies are the stakeholders. I would like to, begin by a company called Parivartan Buildtech Private Limited, where while I was appointed, it looked as if, there is just nothing in the company, and that it must go into liquidation urgently, because, there are a few assets lying across the country which have not even been taken possession of, and selling them as quickly as possible is what is going to give returns to the bankers. So when I took over the company, I went into the details of all the aspects of the company. And as I saw there, I saw two running projects. One was to the value of about 35 crores. Another one was to the value of about 19 crores. They had just started and they had not been completed. So one way was for me to just close the projects and sell the assets and pay off the bankers. The other way was to go deep into the system of the company and try to see what all can be done to maximize the value to the stakeholders. So I went ahead and met everyone who was into that project. I even went to the extent of going to the Gwalior Municipal Corporation and met the commissioner. I hope I'm audible. Yeah. So
yes,
yeah, okay. So I went and met even this company was into building roads and highways, and they were doing projects across the country. And there were two projects in Gwalior which were just running. They had just started but could not be completed. Now, I realized while I got into it that the major stakeholder was also the government of India, the Gwalior Municipal Corporation, which had through tender awarded these contracts to the company. And then that if these contracts are closed, the money invested even by our government is going waste, and even the jobs started and even the money invested by the subcontractors who would be working over there and the people who would be employed by those subcontractors, everyone's money, everyone's stakes would be harmed. So I decided to probably move ahead by to complete these projects rather than giving up and close them. So I went and met the commissioner, and I drew out a course of action to be taken to complete those projects. I got in touch with the subcontractors. I got in touch with the entire system, understood the system, and then went ahead to complete these projects. The first project I was able to complete in a matter of 2 years. And while I completed that project, I was able to generate profits for the company. And instead of letting the company to go into liquidation and ask for money as contribution for the COC expenses and the SCC expenses from the stakeholders, I rather made money, created profits, generated profits, and met out the expenses out of those profits, and also gave a chunk of those profits to my stakeholders, that is the bankers. And they were very happy. They were extremely happy because they did not have to contribute even 1 rupee to the COC or to the SCC expenses. And then I came to the second project where again I, did my efforts, changed. Of course, there was COVID going on while these projects were on. In spite of the COVID, in spite of all the physical and, kind of challenges, I'm just coming right now today, just discussing the conclusion. But I can assure you that while those two projects were going on, there were a huge number of challenges in terms of the subcontractors and all those things. And I went to the extent of changing contractors in case one was not performing and someone could not perform because of the COVID problems. So today, standing here, I can say that I have completed projects worth about 47 crores in these two companies, generating profits and maximizing value to the stakeholders and ensuring that whoever was a stakeholder was not at a loss, including the subcontractors. And I just last month only went and met the Gwalior Municipal Corporation Commissioner, and he was extremely happy and he rather congratulated me on having completed these projects. And then he said that, I have not seen someone taking so much of efforts to complete the projects in a liquidating company. So this is one of one of my experiences while I'm kind of running the insolvency of a company. There is another company which I would like to talk about, that is Compact Lamps Private Limited. Please, I would request you to mute yourself.
पर मुझे मैसेज आया नहीं, 100 रुपए चेक कटने का बाद में कट जाएगा.
I would.
अच्छा चलो ठीक है.
Now, there is this another company called Compact Lamps Private Limited.
I'm sorry, you all are requested to please mute the system.
Now,
Yes,
this
ma'am, please
company's
carry on.
office, this company's factories are somewhere in Uttarakhand, actually in Ramnagar in Uttarakhand, and there was a labor unrest. There was a labor unrest and there was a fight and there was a dispute regarding the inventory, which was standing in the books to the tune of about 97 crores. And there was an unrest regarding the work which was performed and the inventories. So I had a choice whether I would just sit back and take as it is the conditions as they are given and just put it on the books. Or the other choice was that I went there and tried to clear the unrest. So I took the second option and went to Uttarakhand, Ramnagar in that unit. And with the permission and with the apprising the stakeholders, that is my COC, that I was going to hire a bouncer with me to go there and ensure that the unrest is settled. And I hired a bouncer with me and put it on the records, minutized it, and went to Uttarakhand. And there I tried to get a physical inventory done and get a physical record of all the things done, and even met quite a few workers over there, tried to convert their mind, tried to assure them that their hard-earned money would be returned to them as and when the company's realizations are done. And there I was able to manage this inventory taking and also this whole issue with the workers. And I came back with the results, which were very shocking, of course. There were huge discrepancies as given in the books compared to what actuals were. And I was able to put those things on paper, and I was able to really put it across to my stakeholders, put it across on the system that what was the reality of the case rather than only what was being given to me by, just a few members or rather, I would say a few ex-employees of the company. I did not take it just as, on face value. I went there, did my own due diligence, did my own checking and worked it out, and then worked out, created a rather more practical and a more honest and a more transparent methodology for liquidating the company, where of course my bankers and my stakeholders were extremely happy with this kind of, achievement that I did. This was one company I was discussing. One more company. I've had 7 companies with me up till now. I would just like to bring about one more experience, which was a company with its offices at West Bengal. Now, these offices, or rather these factories, were at a place called 24 Paraganas, which is rather famous for being very, very notorious. And there was huge labor unrest over there again. And I once again had a choice. I'd like to bring it out here that, once you have a company under you, it is always, to my understanding, advisable that we go and ourselves have a look at the assets of the company. Otherwise, we may not be able to do justice to the whole process, because as we go there and have a look at the physical assets, the physical condition of the company, the physical condition of the land and building and the assets, we may not be able to draw out a plan which is rather more practical and which would obviously, ensure maximization of returns to the stakeholders. So I once again went there and went there with a team of about 3 advocates with me, and entered into that area, which was rather very, very notorious. As I entered, I realized that there was a half an hour into a village area where, there was a huge factory building. As I entered the premises of the company, there were about 50, 60 employees, ex-employees and workers of the company who were in very, kind of violent mood, and they entered the factory and they closed the gates, which were huge. So the truth is that I was really scared as I saw those, workers enter the factory, and it was very scary in a place like, 24 Paraganas in Bengal. However, I went inside myself. I started to think what was the way to crack the situation right now. And I pulled out that, the best would be to be myself. So I started by talking to those workers, and I spoke to them one by one. And in a matter of about half an hour to 45 minutes, those workers were discussing their problems with me. And on a compassionate ground, as I started discussing, they started to discuss how the closure of the factory had affected their lives, their families, the education of their children, and how they were stuck. And they could also, feel and realize genuine compassion from my side, and an assurance from my side that as I had been appointed the IRP of the company, I would do every bit which was there in my, ability or in my power to ensure that that their returns are given to them, and that they are being compensated for whatever whatever is due to them as per law and as per their salary structures and as per the law. And about an hour later, I saw myself that they were showing me around the company, and they were showing me around all the places and how they had managed to ensure that the company and the assets of the company were being protected. And the truth is that the 2.5 years of handling this company, I have had full support from those workers, and I have really given my best to ensure that they have been compensated in the right manner. And this company, which had a liquidation value of about 67 crores, I was able to sell it at a value of about 103 crores. So which was a huge income, or rather I would say the huge benefit to all the stakeholders, including the workers. So this is just a few glimpses of my journey, which has been as an insolvency professional. Of course, there are 7 companies. I don't want to take you to all those 7 companies and the issues related with them. Of course, I've given you a few highlights. So while I'm here and discussing the problems associated with these companies as an insolvency professional, while being here with the Registered Valuers Organization, I would also like to bring about a few of my
इसकी फाइल निकाल, हमने एक एस्टिमेट ऑफ इनकम बनाया हुआ, ठीक है, उससे जरा टैली कर ले.
Which I would like to bring about a few insights into the valuation process, which could probably change the fate of these companies. As I see that, there are companies which are rather service-oriented companies. I have 3 such companies with me. One is a logistic company, another is a optical fiber line down company, and the third is a company which is, I just mentioned, a construction company where all the assets have been sold out. But these are the companies which have a promising future. These are the companies where, if they go back into the market and start realizing their potential, then these companies might come back to the power. But unfortunately, they have no asset base. They have very little asset base. Now, what happens is when the valuation is done after an insolvency assignment begins, these companies are valued, and the resolution plans are invited based upon that valuation. And the bankers take a decision based upon the valuation. And even the resolution plans come based upon the assets which are there. Now, in such companies, bankers expect that, there is value in the company. The stakeholders expect that, especially, I'll take an example of this construction company where there is value in the form of the input tax credit. There is value in the form of, the pre-qualification that the company has earned because of completing these projects, even while being in liquidation. So these companies have a value. They have an inherent value, and one of these companies being the optical fiber laying down, where it is already having an infrastructure to lay down those fibers, which also happens to be the goal of our Honorable Prime Minister, to lay down optical fibers across the country, across the length and breadth of the company. So this company has the power to see the light of the day, but unfortunately, due to a low asset base and being a service-oriented company, the value does not come into the company, and the bankers do not approve of the resolution plans. So this is where, although I'm trying to now sell them as liquidation as a going concern, so that the value remains and the company lives, and the employees are also put back on the jobs, and also, the money which has been stalled due to the stopping of the company, due to the company going into CIRP and going into, liquidation, that money is also taken out if these companies are taken over and run by some, applicants who can even buy it as company as a going concern. So this is where I would rather propose maybe, a slight shift in the valuation process, where even the intrinsic value in the companies may be valued or maybe put up separately into the evaluation report, saying that these are the contingent valuation or the contingent assets which can be utilized once the company comes back to life. So this will help in, improving the valuation, improving the value to the stakeholders. So this is what I had in my mind while I today came here to speak about, of course, while we talk of the wings of aspiration of the women, I think wherever we are, whichever field it might be, like I just told you, this case of SD Aluminium, I think we are in a strife-ridden world, and we as women can really contribute to, a peaceful society, or rather loving society, and a society where, the compassion, if it rules, can really change the fate of many things. It can change the fate of the companies, they can change the fate of the countries, can change the fate of the, families and society at large. So my view here is that we as women must come out with all our, intrinsic, I would say, abilities, which are rather in the form of construction, which are rather in the form of creation, rather than any kind of destruction. And when we put it to use, the results, wherever we may be, are really going to be, I would say, spectacular. And this is what I would call the wings of aspiration on which we can fly. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It's been wonderful to speaking to all of you. Thank you so much. Once again, I would like to wish you all a happy Women's Day and a very happy Holi to all my friends. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deepika ma'am. Thank you very much. So our next speaker is Surbhi madam. She is an associate professor in Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs. Surbhi ma'am, please.
Thank you so much, all of you, for having me this afternoon. A very good afternoon to one and all. I hope I am audible to one and all and visible as well. So a very happy International Women's Day to one and all present here, and a happy Holi as well. So with International Women's Day, falling on the Festival of Colors, I feel that it's an opportune time to discuss how colorful and vibrant women make the lives of all around them, and how their contribution has been wonderfully acknowledged across all fronts. In fact, this celebration today also is one form of that acknowledgement, and I truly my views truly resonate with the views of Dr. Juneja and Deepika ma'am as well. And I also come from the insolvency ecosystem, although I'm in academics, but my contribution to the ecosystem is, although little, but I feel it's little significant as well, because when it comes to saving the economy and the task and role of an insolvency professional, I feel privileged and honored to be a part of the organization which is nurturing the future insolvency professionals. And my journey has been truly magnificent as the head of the graduate insolvency program. For the past 2 years, I have been heading this program as the course director, and it is the only program in the entire world which has been instrumental in bringing a young cadre of insolvency professionals. And it has the regulatory approval of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, and I can proudly say that all our students have been real turnaround artists, and they have turned around the fortunes of so many companies and people in distress. And like what Deepika ma'am had just mentioned about, the challenges that an insolvency professional faces when they are, saving a company in distress. It's not only about company which is in distress, it's also about the people. And what actually struck me when she mentioned about, how you have to be doing everything of your own and utilizing the intrinsic abilities that a woman possesses. So all of those aspects truly make an insolvency professional instrumental and making it a fulcrum in the entire process of insolvency resolution. So all those objectives that have been enshrined in the preamble of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, be it, the maximization of value, or promoting entrepreneurship, or for that matter, thinking about the sentiment of promoting the availability of credit. Now, all of these attributes could be achieved only when there is an able force which is able to deliver with passion and compassion. So, taking cue from what my fellow panelists spoke about compassion, doing things with a lot of compassion. Sorry, my my throat is in a bad shape, so my apologies for that. But what I feel is that both passion as well as compassion should be the should be the fuels that should fuel the endeavor of insolvency resolution. And my journey has been nurturing the young aspirants who have decided to take on this challenging terrain, wherein you have to balance the interest of all the stakeholders while being in charge, managing the affairs of the corporate debtor, and also while ensuring that the value is retained, it's not deteriorated as the process runs. So all of those things, I feel, they make the process of insolvency resolution very, very sensitive, not only from an economic but also from a social perspective. And that's where the societal dimension of the insolvency law comes into play. So I feel that my contribution in strengthening the ecosystem in terms of bringing the young graduates, providing them a platform where they can interact with the people, experts across the world, has been truly memorable for me. And what I feel like, what Deepika ma'am was just citing about the challenges that she has faced while being a insolvency professional. So she's been a regular faculty here at our graduate insolvency program classes, and I get to hear so much from the students that yes, being an IP is you have to don so many hats together, and it is something that is required to be done in a very perfect manner. But as human beings, as we are, like, to err is human. So how much effort can make in terms of bringing value, and that to maximizing the value of the corporate debtor, I feel all of that is something which the insolvency professionals, especially women insolvency professionals, in fact, the very first insolvency professional was a woman who registered. It was Dr. Mamta Benani ma'am. And it's truly heartening to listen to all the women insolvency professionals, how their journeys have been and how they have navigated through all those challenges and sailed smoothly. Although it's a lot easier said than done, but truly remarkable on their part to, to lead the life that they want, and to take it along the vision that's not only useful for the economy as a whole, but for the stakeholders who are in the process. And it basically shows that how compelling the image has been in their mind of that achievable future when when the person finds resolution, and they take this next step in their journey. And the essential task is for them to find meaning and a sense of purpose. So this is what I think the IPs and in general women professionals have been doing in a stellar manner. And like in my journey as well, although I always say that I am a student of law, I get to learn so much from, even today when I get to hear such young professionals from the insolvency law domain, and from other domains as well, be it the chartered accountants or the cost accountants or the company secretaries. I just help them to do what best they can do, discover what's truly important in their lives. And for that, I always motivate them to take in account what they have achieved so far, and also to to take pleasure in their accomplishments, be it their workplace or their personal front or wherever. And also, other thing which I really motivate my students is about experimenting, because when you are young you can experiment, and how best they can use their talents or as well as their passions to create a value not only for themselves but for others as well. And also very important is the sense of ownership, that also we have tried to inculcate in our students, for basically owning the responsibility to take steps, however small it may be, towards realizing the current vision in order to become the leader that they want to become, and the world that they want to create, not only in terms of the workplace, but also in terms of their home, in their community, in the ecosystem generally. So all of those uh, areas we have been focusing upon. And my journey has been fueled with legal research as well. And I've contributed in the publications for the capacity building of the insolvency professionals, partnered with the team from the World Bank while I served with the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. And during my stint there, I participated in many seminars that were organized by the board for advocacy and generating awareness. And site has been my little contribution to the ecosystem as a whole. And I continue to serve the insolvency law ecosystem, and I'm always excited about the endeavors, whether they come from the regulator or from the government or from the institution where I'm serving, in order to build knowledge, in order to share knowledge which is already there in the public domain, and to bring the best that the professionals can become of themselves. Want to just flag before I conclude is about being human. What Deepika ma'am was also, I think, emphasizing upon, that physical side of a profession is something we all really need to mull upon and think that where the profession is going, and to incorporate that human dimension in whatever is done, whatever be the endeavor of the person. If that human dimension is kept intact, which could be simple traits like honesty, determination, then integrity, all of those things, although they look very cliched when we mention them, but yes, they are the ones which hold maximum value when it comes to doing anything and everything for that matter. So with this, I'd like to leave you with food for thought, why being human is important today when we take the human technology and AI thinking coming to the fore. So with this, to conclude, thank you so much for giving me this platform, and a very happy International Women's Day to one and all present here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Surbhi ma'am. Now the next speaker is Preeti Grover madam. She is a regional council member of NIRC ICSI and a practicing company secretary. Preeti Grover ma'am, please.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And my thanks to S.K. Gupta, sir. And a warm welcome to all the members who've joined and this opportunity. So when sir told me that it's about sharing of some members, I thought I can share my journey if it can inspire someone. So I will start my journey from childhood, actually. Born in a very small town in Punjab, Moga, and growing up, a very, very difficult time when Punjab had those issues, terrorist problem. In schools, colleges, there to be lots of off because we used to have curfew in those days. Some incidents in the family itself. My grandfather was shot down by terrorists and he had a tough time studying there. So my father decided that if he wanted us to study, maybe we should consider shifting to Delhi. And that is how I joined here in the 9th class. It was not easy adjusting initially to the level of Delhi students. हमारी फैमिली बहुत ही कंजर्वेटिव फैमिली थी. ये तो कभी सोचते ही नहीं थे कि गर्ल्स को इस तरह से प्रोफेशनल कोर्स सीए सीएस या कुछ भी ऐसा कोर्स कराएंगे. सारी फैमिली थी एंड द एटीट्यूड वाज टू get them graduated and get them married. But coming to Delhi changed my outlook also. So I've done MCom, MCom. Yes, I could clear in the first attempt, and also LLB from Delhi University. The whole professional journey has been very nice. Of 26 years, I qualified in 1996. So I worked in private sector, I worked in public sector, and now I'm a practicing company secretary. So along with that, obviously, as a lot of ladies have those issues, when I got married, I felt to balance that work and family life, I decided to quit my job and start my practice. I was also a teaching CA student. I decided to become a faculty at Noida chapter of ICSI. And later on, I went on to become a managing committee member of the Noida chapter. It was in the year 2007, 8, 9, 10. I was vice chairman Noida chapter in 2010 when I was diagnosed with cancer. Again, life had its own ups and downs. I decided my priorities were towards the family and towards my mother. I decided to take up the chairmanship, give my full time towards her health and treatment. When she passed away, I went through a very, very low phase and I had quit the chapter. Was like that, able to do it again. I think destiny has its own ways and God wanted me to fulfill what I had left in between. And after 8 long years, I decided to again, I was getting some requests. There's always been less female representation in the professional bodies, even now. So I decided to contest Noida chapter again. We had proper elections with members coming and voting, and I became managing committee member at Noida chapter. And I went on to become Noida chapter chairperson in the year 21. So, and chairperson also in the year when we had our own, we saw a terrible phase in the form of second wave of COVID. As chairman, I was getting a lot of requests when there were, people were helpless. They were sending us also requests for hospitals, beds, plasma, oxygen cylinders. So we tried to form volunteer groups, tried to help as much as possible to all the members that were reaching out to us. In fact, in our CS circles, I was the only one to arrange vaccination drive for CS members in association with Fortis Hospital, Noida. So we got a slot for our CS members and students. And I was actually in the hospital myself from 7 a.m. in the morning, wearing a PPE kit to ensure that the whole process happens smoothly, the vaccination process. So there were upteen challenges, the trainings and the programs going on had to be scheduled online in those 4-5 months. And immediately when the situation was better, then we shifted them in physical mode. And then again in January, we had third wave of COVID. Then again in a few hours or in a day, we had to again take them all online. So that entire year was quite challenging. But I think the number of programs, the number of, things that I could do for the members as a whole, I got a lot of appreciation and support from the members. Now, after that tenure ended, I had two options. Either I end my journey there as chapter chairperson, which has happened with all the female ladies at ICSI till now. So at ICSI, Northern India में जो हमारा बहुत बड़ा region है, it's the biggest region in ICSI. Whoever had led the chapters, no one had taken the next jump to the next level, which is the NIRC, which is a huge region. So I decided to take this next jump. In this, I also wanted to give two clear signals. One, that nothing is too late at any stage. So the age which I contested these elections, NIRC elections in ICSI, no lady has done till now, and no chapter chairperson has gone to the next level. I'm the first one. And when the elections took place, I got elected at the second place. I got elected. And then I have this year in January been elected as treasurer of NIRC of ICSI. In fact, it's the first time a lady has been elected as treasurer in the history of NIRC. So these are the firsts, but I would want that more and more ladies come up and, there is more representation at ICSI. ICSI has many, many female members. The percentage of female members is quite high, but that kind of representation is not there at the decision-making levels. So that is what, coming to the point of my aspiration at this point, I've done this to encourage more females to come up. I have also tried to kind of start the concept of sisterhood. We've all heard the nasty culture of pitting women against each other, but I think we have to propel and help each other forward. Get stronger together as mothers, sisters, daughters, and professionals. So I'm trying to encourage all CS members, especially females, who for some reasons, for family, because of children, have taken a back seat and are not in the mainstream of the profession, to come back into the profession. So any member who's helping them to come back, we'll try and give them due acknowledgement. I'm trying to encourage them to do this and also then share success stories with us so that more and more females are brought back into the profession. So this is the main aspiration that I would, want to do, encourage more females also to participate in the decision-making levels at ICSI. Someone who's still leading at the chapter maybe should also try and take up the next level. Again, we've had only one, someone mentioned Mamta Binani. Mamta Binani was president of ICSI, and we had one more woman president, which the lady was Preeti Malhotra. She's the only one who's been NIRC chairperson, and that happened in the year 2002. Since 2002, there has not been any woman who's led at NIRC. I hope I get that chance, and I also hope that it should not take a further 20 plus years for one more lady to come up. We need many, many more and faster. We cannot have that gap of 15 to 20 years since we've, I've already had that kind of a gap already. So this is my main aim. And regarding the women empowerment, I have one more request to everyone here actually. Empowering women, I think, is an idea which means raising the status of women through education, awareness, literacy, and training. So that's not just helping the professional ladies. Let's help all the ladies that we find around ourselves, helping your daughters, sisters, women in the family, and in fact, daughters of our maids, servants, and drivers. So if we think we can help anyone raise their level in the society, let's try and do that. That's the only request I would like to make all the professionals that are attending here today, that let's try and do our bit for the women empowerment and for every one of those ladies around us. So this is my message for the Women's Day. Thank you so much for having me here. This glass ceiling that we always talk about for the women, that will only go away when women help other women break through that ceiling. I end it with a quote by Malala Yousafzai. So here I stand, one girl among many. I speak not for myself, but for so those without a voice can be heard. Those who have fought for their rights, their right to live in peace, their right to be treated with dignity, their right to equality of opportunity, and their right to be educated. So let's start each day with a positive note. Let's start each day with a smile, and a wonderful time is out there waiting for you. Thank you so much. A very, very happy Women's Day and a very happy Festival of Colors, Holi, to all of you. I hope my journey from a small town girl, when, growing up, I had even thought that I'll be alive till this date. And now wanting to make a difference to the profession and society, I live long enough to share my story a few years here from now. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing your journey. Now, the next speaker is CMA Lavanya, madam. She is a registered valuer with ICMA RBO.
Hi. So very good evening to all the participants. Advanced happy Women's Day and happy Holi to all of you. Let me first thank the organization for giving me this opportunity of expressing my views here. Thank you so much. So my dear friends, I am probably one of the very odd ones. I am a BTech. Could you mute, somebody else? Right. So I'm a BTech. I'm a Bachelor in Technology. I'm an engineer from the electronics and communication stream. So, but I have become a cost accountant. Why? Only for the reason that I wanted to be different. In fact, my IIT rank was 4,000 and odd. In the year 2001, when you get a rank of 4,000, there were not enough IIT seats. You probably have to go to the Banaras Hindu University or the Dhanbad School of Mines, or something like that. Then I thought I'll have to repeat. Then my father, who is a CMA and a CA, told Lavanya, don't repeat. Okay, let's do something else differently. Don't worry about your IIT seat. And I was a 1,000 rank holder in the Andhra MSET. Then he said, please join in the Engineering College of Andhra, Hyderabad. I'm from Hyderabad. And then he said, why don't you do CMA? If you do CMA, you will not have any clash between the articles and your BTech college. So that's how I started, my CMA journey. The whole day I was going to my engineering college. Evening I was going to my CMA academy. So if at any point of time somebody asked, Lavanya, what are you pursuing? I had no answers. In fact, I have failed miserably in my CMA inter. That's when when I felt so bad like hell, and I thought I should not do this. Maybe you shouldn't travel on 2 boats, what I'm doing. Okay, maybe that's not humanly possible. And then my family said, no, just try for one more time. If you're not getting it the next time, then leave it, then only focus on your BTech. Okay, don't worry. So when my family gave me support, then I thought, okay, I have to do it this time. And that's when I cracked the All India first among girls in CMA Inter. I was 7th ranker. Okay, it was #1 in girls. And then again, a lot of energies. Okay, I thought, yes, you can manage both. Let me again complete. That's how I pursued CMA along with my BTech. BTech 2005, CMA 2006, and got married in 2007. So the beauty is, even before we entered our 4th year, right, BTech 4th year, we all got, most of our friends, we got campus placements in Cognizant. So I was a software developer doing .NET web applications there, led a team of around 10 to 12 people in multiple technologies, and that was a beautiful, sober life. It was just like a you know the entrance time, you never know when you get out, right? So that's how the software jobs usually are, and that was how I was leading my first 5 years of my career. Then when my kids were born, I think my destiny has changed, my direction has changed. It was so tough to manage 2 kids and a software job. That's when I resigned. And again, when my parents said, why don't you make use of your CMA, take your COP, that's when I have taken my COP in the year 2011. And since then, I started my practice. The first few years, were very shaky. All the basics evaporated. Nothing was in my mind. But of course, my husband, who's a CA, and my father, double qualified, they have helped me, to stand in the journey. Later on, the first 2 years was tough, but later on, we could do. Now, when Guptaji was asking about Lavanya, why don't you share your success story? Then, what struck to my mind is, what is success? What is the definition of success, right? Some people say satisfaction is success. Some people say achieving, some X turnover is success. For somebody else, earning so much of money is success. For somebody helping so many people is success. So success has many definitions. But I'll share the points where I'm satisfied, where I'm learning, falling down, again learning, relearning, getting satisfied, and trying to do things better. Now, whom should we all compete with? Right? Whom should we all compete with? We should compete with ourselves every day. So yesterday I have done so much. So today my new target is this. So if we have this kind of bouncing back attitude, though we fall down, just like Captain America, right? In every movie we see, he falls down a number of times, but again with that equal energy, he gets up and moves forward, right? We all know Avengers stories and all that stuff. So I think that kind of attitude is very much needed. But what's happening with women? I'm, apologizing for using these words, but most women that I met, have seen, most of the women that have met till now have a manufacturing defect, have a manufacturing defect. We all know women are from Venus and men are from Mars, but we all have to stay together on this earth, right? Now, what is the manufacturing defect of a woman? Being a woman, I also have that, right? Most women expect a compliment. Most women expect a compliment. You know, it could be the daily rasam that I cook for my family. It could be daily upma, or it could be, you know, small change in the living room, small change in the bedroom. I want my family to recognize it, and then this is nice. Sufficient. That two words are sufficient, you know, which will give more energy to women. Now, we have seen many kinds of women who have come from, you know, countryside, you know, villages, towns, struggled a lot. Today we have Chat GPT, today we have Google. At least in the days when we were pursuing CMA, we had the help of a library. And I'm sure my father even didn't have that, right? So the learning avenues are growing today. Though the learning avenues are growing today, for most of the women, to plan and go out of the house is a big challenge. And who has to help there? It's the family. It's not just one family, my dear friends. It's not just one family. Now, we know in every man's success, there is a woman, right? Could be the wife, mother, sister, teacher, could be anybody. But what I strongly believe is in the success of any lady, we have a few families. It could be your family, your extended family, your servant maid's family, your driver's family, your watchman's family, and many more. My servant maid is also a working lady for her family, right? She's a working lady. If you have to put it technically, she's a consulting, lady who works in 4 or 5 homes. She's generating her money like that. If she is unwell, if she is not coming on time, then I'm not on time. There are many cases, you know, where you have to run out of house at 7 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so after my BTech and my CMA, when I took my COP, then I started writing articles, many articles in management accountant. And in the Hyderabad chapter, I started a technical corner. Technical corner karke started a 2-page article where, you know, I started educating people on technical aspects like density. When you go to cost audit or when you want to go to any factory, understand the terms going on there. What is pressure or what is temperature? How do you measure it? Or what is the link between two items? What is volume? How do you bring it to density? Different kinds of, you know, normal stuff, what we usually find in our costing assignments and all. Because costing is more about quantitative information than financial information, right? We have got to know where two products are, merging or diverging, all that stuff. So when I started writing those articles, and somehow, I thought, let me get elected to the Hyderabad chapter MC. And I was the first lady secretary, got the highest number of votes in 2015. Again, I became the first lady chairman, first lady vice chairman, then again the first lady chairman, fighting many odds. Now, what I clearly understood in my journey is performance alone is not sufficient, right? If Sachin alone is playing the game beautifully, is it sufficient? Sachin plus 10 more members have to play, only then we have India's flag high, right? Sachin alone is playing is not sufficient. If Lavanya alone is playing, it's not sufficient. You know, you might be having some idea, you might be wanting to, you know, probably change a few items in the society or contribute back to the institute or whatever is yours, right? So identified a few like minded people and hit it hard, and I was the first lady chairman. When I was the chairman, there were many instances when for many students programs, I had to step at 7 o'clock in the morning. A lady stepping out at 7 o'clock in the morning means that she has to wake up at around 3 or 3:30, cook, arrange, pack foods for herself, her family, and many more things. Right? So even today, my kids are in 9th standard and 7th standard. If I have to go out for 2 hours, my planning starts at least 4 hours in advance. Right? I'm still able to do only because my family, my extended family, and my support system, you know, I have made it tough. I have made it enough strong that it is supporting me. Now, if there is a driver who is unwell, then it is hitting me, right? Therefore, I have to see that he is well, his family is well. So this is how, in a lady's journey, you have many people supporting a lady, and the lady in turn supports many people, right? Now, Winners and the losers have the same goal. We all know this. Both of them have the same goal, but what makes difference is the process. What makes difference is the process in which they try to go. It happens many times in the lives of ladies. We get to hear. Now there are many men, very thankful to all these beautiful men who have been supporting, the ladies in different capacities. In the life of a lady, suppose I want to go to a meeting, then, from the family, some words come. Is it very important today? Do you think you have to go today? Will the meeting stop if you don't go? Why don't you be at home and take care of this? Or why don't you do, something else? There were also times, when I came home at 11 p.m., 11 o'clock in the night, some meetings happened, then again dinner, being the chairperson or being the host, we were the last persons to take the dish and last persons to move out of the room. That happened it several times. So 1 day, 2 day, your families will support you, but how long, right? So we have to create that in a strong support system. And I strongly believe that all the ladies should have a thick skin. What is a thick skin? Just inputs come here, immediately it has to be outputted if it is trying to disturb us, right? Now, audience always comment, players play the game. The players are playing with co-players, right? Players are playing the game with the co-players. I am a player, I have to play with my co-players. But if the audience are disturbing, it is my duty to not focus on the audience and play with the players. We are not playing the game with the audience, right? So audience keep shouting, audience keep commenting, audience keep gossiping, audience keep, terrifying the players. But the players should have enough strength inside, and we should only focus, whom am I competing with? I'm competing with Lavanya, or I'm competing with, a few other professionals. I draw inspiration from a few professionals, or I draw inspiration from a few, big people. I in turn give inspiration to a few people, and the journey goes on. Now, we all should strongly believe that audience should not disturb us, right? But we, ladies tend to, feel bad immediately. Array, they said this word, should I really stop going to this meeting? Should I really take care of my kids? There are many, circumstances when kids are suffering from, fever, they're not well. Some guests are coming home. You have to cook. Your maid is absent. You have some, work at home. You have an urgent meeting. You have to present a report. After all this, again, you have to invoice and try to safely get money from the clients. After we run all this journey, and if you don't get enough remuneration, or if you don't get our payments of time, again, you have to feed your team, right? We are a team of 20 people in Hyderabad, but we promptly pay to our, employees or staff. But when the money comes, it's tough. And we all know most of the promoters are male, right? To give to a lady or to give to any vendor, even probably they will have their own challenges. They will keep delaying. So it's a big game. It's a big game the way we are going forward. So ladies should have thick skin. No, I'm trying to practice this. Probably from the year 2013 onwards, I have been participating in Women's Day celebrations of, many institutes, our institute, co-institutes, industry bodies like FICCI, CIA and all. And there are women and who have all have the same opinion, all only say, if you really want to go to your goal, develop that thick skin. It is easier said, but very tough to practice. It's not very easy to get thick skin overnight and you ignore everybody else and just do this, right? So, and one more thing, ladies are a little possessive, right? Mostly, I observe that even with me, I'm trying to get rid of that as well. I only want to feed my son and my daughter. I don't want anybody else to come and feed them. If I feel if somebody is feeding them, maybe they're not doing the job properly, right? Now, I feel only I have to, make the bed, or I feel only I have to, make this particular dish. If anybody else is doing, maybe the taste is not so great. Right? Most of the ladies, have this kind of complex, which is called the superwoman complex. We feel we are good at cleaning. We feel we are good at, delivering multiple things. But I think we have to get away from that syndrome, the syndrome of, over possession, or the syndrome of feeling that we are superwoman. Now, the problem is when we feel we are superwoman, if I feel I, wash utensils much better than my maid, I clean clothes much better than my maid, then whom am I competing with? I stop her, I scold her, and I go and do the job, then I'm taking her role. I'm competing with my servant maid. Is that what I wanted? No, right? I wanted to compete with somebody else. So even there are minor ups and downs. Now we all know even twins don't behave similarly. Twins also don't render things similarly. Any two people always have that difference. So if I render, there is some quality X. If my staff member renders, maybe there's a quality lower than that. But I think we as ladies have to enable others. I doing the same job every day will not skill me anymore, right? If I have to draft mails, and if I say, you staff member, you don't know how to put proper grammar, you're not writing sentences properly. If I take the laptop, and if I starting drafting mails and doing reports on behalf of my clients, I will never be successful, because I'm repeatedly doing whatever I'm doing, I have been doing in the history. My future will also be the same. But if I have to grow, we have to enable the team members, right? So you have done some quality of, say, X today. You have done, say, some 20% good job today. I have to enable the staff member, enable him, give him the proper inputs. So it happens that, say, a 3-hour job, my effort to skill the staff member is taking around 6 to 7 hours. So double time, we are spending time to upskill the team members, so that tomorrow they don't disturb us, they don't depend on us, right? So small things they should be able to handle independently. For example, my son has to iron his shirt every day. I don't help him. Though I have time, I don't help him. Though he doesn't have time, I don't help him. I strongly say, you should know how to manage your time. If your clock is running, you should also run along with the clock, manage it yourself, understand how you do, and only then run forward. Or else we as ladies, now when Gandhi said, if a lady is educated, the whole society is educated. How does that be? It becomes only when we enable them, only when we try to skill them. Now, if we repeatedly do everything, if we become servant maids and we repeatedly do everything what we have been doing for all the love we have for the society and the family, neither they will improve nor we will improve. Now, to learn this secret, probably it has taken around 6 to 7 years for me, right? When I took practice in the year 2011, again, I was single, I was a one-man army. I slowly started building team of 1, 2, 3 people. And when they were bad, I cursed them. I did everything by myself and paid them salaries promptly. This is called a self-employed person. Now, who is an entrepreneur? Entrepreneur knows everything, knows to do everything, but he makes his team do. What does a self-employed person do? He does everything by himself. Now, it's our call whether we want to be a self-employed person or an enabler, whether we want to enable a team, whether we want to be an entrepreneur or a self-employed person. It's our own decision. I'm sure, being professionals, studied up to the level of CES, CMA, CA or CS or double, triple qualified, whatever. I'm sure we don't want to be, one-man army running. Right? We, along with a few people, have to go forward in the journey. So for that, we have to shed out possession. Right? Now, even the kid has to know, if my mom gives me food, it is like this. If somebody else is giving food, it is like this. The kid should also appreciate the difference between a mother doing the job and somebody else doing the job. He should know, or else when will he learn in his lifetime? So I strongly believe in self-experience. If we have to render something, then the matter of self-experience has to come. Whosoever role, whosoever job it is, he has to do. Though we know everything, we should not run and do. Helping is different. But we shouldn't take everything on our head and say, I'm a superwoman. See how beautifully I have done this report. See how beautifully I have analyzed. See how beautifully I have, written the mail. See how beautifully ultimately begged my own fees before the client. Ultimately, that day comes. So, my dear friends, I strongly believe that self-experience is very important for everybody. all the ladies, especially, I don't think gents have these complexes. Most of the gents I have seen, they don't have this complex. If the work is done, they're happy, whoever does it. But with ladies, that's not the case. We alone have to do, right? But after I have started, learning this fact and trying to implement in my office or my family, I am seeing the results. I'm seeing that my family is enough enabled to, take up things on their own, and even my offices. And I see one more, I commend myself for this. I have been able to probably, implement a task manager software at my office. It sounds very simple. Now, after my chairmanship in the year 1920, during my chairmanship, I couldn't, I couldn't focus more on my practice. Then after my chairmanship, then I thought, I have seen, some mistakes have been committed by my team members, where a few files and all, few numbers and all. I thought, oh, something wrong is going. I have to now focus on my practice. But how do I focus on my practice? By the time my chairmanship is over, my team strength is almost around 15 or plus. Monitoring 15 people, say across some 100 clients, they do different things every day. Every day mail goes, every day entries are being passed, every day reports are generated, every day payments are done. So it has become a big maze for me to handle. So I thought it's not humanly. So I have done one-on-one meetings. I have put some Excel sheets and all. It didn't work here. It really didn't work. I couldn't see quality anywhere. So since that day when it started, I started searching in Google what can help me. Then I found a few task manager tools. I started first software that did not serve my purpose. I have seen the demo, I liked it, but when I wanted it to be implemented in my team, it was an utter failure. Nobody responded in my office, and I could not manage it, and that didn't have some real-time information. Then I went to one more software, used it for around 8 months. Again, that also did not give me enough dashboards or to see what is happening in the office. Then I moved to a third software. In fact, I have spent probably more than 10% of my fees on my software expense. I have built a cloud-based server so that even if somebody is working from home, they will still have access to data. Or else what is happening? People at home always disturb those at office and say, give me any desk, give me digital signature. Neither that fellow is working nor this fellow is working. Again, thought a lot, what is a solution for this, and implemented a cloud-based solution where we connect through a VPN, then all our data is there, people can access it easily, and all the 20 members are contributing now. Okay. Then this task manager, so every small task counts. And to implement this task manager, it has taken 2 years for me. It's a small software. We are a team of just 20 people. And to implement this software and see what is happening live in my office, it has taken 2 years. I think only some 2 to 3 months ago, I'm completely comfortable with my task manager. Now it is on my phone. Wherever I am, I can call a particular person and ask what is happening here, what is happening here. So in a day, I can talk to all the 20 people. He has his clear-cut responsibility. Now, suppose a client says, Lavanya, please send my balance sheet, or please send last month report. I simply put in the WhatsApp group, please send please send the internal audit report of the client of last month. People forget. In fact, they are much younger. They're almost half my age. Most of my staff members, I'm close to 40. So they forgot. Then I felt, if aged 40, being an entrepreneur, I'm myself forgetting. I have just put in the WhatsApp message and I thought my job is over. I never followed up with my team, whether it was sent again, because I strongly believe if I communicated, the job is done. They have never done. Again, the client called me, Lavanya, where is the report? I asked you, it's very urgent. So seeing these kinds of exigencies and all, then I stopped going to, my other activities, solely focused on my office for the last 2 years. And now I'm able to see the results. If a client says, I want my balance sheet, immediately I'm adding a task to Lokesh, send balance sheet of this client of this particular year. Right? Today I have added the task. He might have responded today or not. If he does not respond today, the task pops up. Right? Tomorrow, when I'm taking the status call with my employees on a day-to-day basis, I understand that he has not done this. Though small or big things everybody does, big things everybody remembers, right? You have to do this cost audit, you have to do that due diligence, you have to do this valuation. We all remember, we all forget small things, right? But this task manager software from Ahmedabad has really helped me to streamline my operations. So tomorrow morning I ask Lokesh, I have added a task here. See, it is popping up in your list. Is it done? No, madam, I'm doing it right now. He might have done, he might have not done. Third day, again, I have the opportunity of asking my team without forgetting, right? So having this operations dashboard is very important for all organizations. We know sales and marketing, right? R&D, HR, accounting, operations are the key, activities of any business. Now, if I see mine as a startup or mine as a business, right? I understood that I have been struggling in my operations. So to get over that, so implementing these minor solutions and made everything cloud-based. Now I only used a cloud-based, GST software, only using the cloud-based income tax software, only using a cloud-based, companies that software, everything made cloud-based, where everything is again linked to my phone. When everything is linked to my phone, the whole office is in my phone. In fact, I have linked my tally also to my phone. Any entry in my tally or any client's tally also pops up on my phone. Of course, I have invested a lot in this software, but I feel this is one commendable area where I have achieved some success. I always tell my team, if the train is in Vishakhapatnam, you cannot say it is in Secunderabad, right? If the task is undone, you cannot close the task. Or if the task is done, you cannot still keep it open, right? Our system and our reality have to match. And unless we implement proper systems, we will not be a success. So I probably don't have very great assignments like my previous speakers do have. I have a few assignments where I am still rendering, but due to NDA where I have signed, I cannot disclose any facts about the kinds of assignments that I'm doing. But I definitely take pride in the way I have organized my office, organized my operations, organized my team members, clearly given them roles and responsibilities. Now this will help us to get a better view of the office and plan. If a particular team member is leaving, so I know whom I have to replace. The new member, what task he has to do, that is clearly already planned and programmed. But this is not an overnight job. It has taken more than 2 years for me to come to this stage. I think with these words, let me sign off, my dear friends. Again, for all the ladies here, let us stop being over possessive. Let us start being thick-skinned. And we all have to remember that we are playing the game with the players and not with the audience. The audience keep disturbing us. We should not get deterred. One more thing. I think we all should also convey our sense of appreciation, right? If Sachin has hit a defense ball, if the ball is tough, he might only do a defense. We have to appreciate. We should never say, only if Sachin hits 100, I will appreciate him. No, every ball is important. So for every 2, for every 4, or probably even a defense ball, we have to appreciate. Only then that sense of contribution energizes in the player. So wish you good luck. Thank you, RVO, for giving me this opportunity. Bye.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for sharing your experience. And that was an excellent speech, ma'am. So our next speaker for the day is Dr. Meera. She's a professor. May I request Dr. Meera to please share your journey to success?
Thank you. Thank you for making me join this platform. To start with, I would want to congratulate RVO for the commitment and passion in honoring, respecting, adoring all the amazing women in our life. And I also was truly inspired by CMA Lavanya's inspiring journey, engineering and then accountancy. So really, I'm happy to understand that this is how we grow as women. Let me introduce myself first. I'm Professor Dr. Meera Mehta. I am working in the Department of Commerce, Shahid Bhagat Singh College, University of Delhi. This is where I am presently right now. But my journey starts from Dehradun, where I did my graduation and my post-graduation. As on date, Dehradun is a state capital, but back in 80s, it was a small time where we hardly had any access to much of information. I topped my graduation and post-graduation, and when I went to meet my professor, I was told that, why don't you join teaching? I was good at it. So I thought, let me give it a try. And I joined teaching, and I realized that I enjoyed teaching because this gave me an opportunity to touch upon the lives of so many students. And another important role that I want to acknowledge at on this platform is the role that, of course, each one of will acknowledge this, my mother played. When I was born, the first thing that the nurse told her that you've been blessed with a baby girl, and she was all smiles, and the nurse just wondered why she's smiling. This is the third child that she's having, and she is all smiles. So the strength, I think, comes from there. She was all the time inspiring me. She's all the time making me understand. She was a homemaker, a simple homemaker, but all the time making me realize that you are strong and you can emerge stronger from the challenges that you will be facing in your life. So when I joined my profession as a teacher, as a professor in Delhi University, it was a long journey. I went to various colleges. I taught there on temporary basis. I went to schools also. I taught in schools also, as and when, because my husband was in a transferable job. So wherever the job took us, I went along with him, joined all the institutes anywhere but I was an academician all the time. When I joined Delhi University, I realized that this profession gives me ample opportunity to touch upon the numerous lives of all my students, girls as well as boys. What I felt was that this way I can educate girls about the strength that they have in them and how those challenges that they face in their everyday life can be worked upon, and that those challenges can make them emerge stronger. I'll just share a small incident. This happened a year before the pandemic. We have a system of internal assessment in our university. And every year, the students are assigned around 25 marks for those internal assessments. When I was taking the internal assessment, I realized that a few of the students have not appeared for their internal assessment. So I just posted their roll numbers in the WhatsApp group, and I asked them that these students are missing and they've not appeared for their internal assessment, since I was concerned because they were losing their 25 marks. I was approached by a girl student, and she shared something very strange with me. This was my final year of graduation students. She was a final year graduation student, BCom. She shared that, ma'am, I do want to appear for my internal assessment. I do not want to lose those marks. But the problem is, I am placed at Sonipat and I have just delivered a baby. Now, this was too strange for me, a final year student in this age, already married and also with an issue. So I said, what do you want me to do? I mean, you want to go for it, or you want to miss your internal assessment and just lose upon your marks? She said, ma'am, I want to study further. I do not want to stop here. And if I do not clear my graduation, I will not be able to go any further. So I need help. Over at that point of somebody's audio is on. I would request. Yeah. So at that point of time, I just felt a connect that this girl is really determined. She wants to work upon it, and she needs one extra mile from my end to help her out. So the culture of online classes, everything was not there. I took special permission from my institute. that I want to help this girl out. She wants to appear for her internal assessment, but because she was in the hospital at that point of time. So I just shared this with my head and they readily agreed. I took her Viva online. She gave her presentation online, and all this while lying on the hospital. So her determination was truly impressing for me. And I was so very happy that yes, at least one of this girl among the whole lot that we have, she has emerged out of the situation and she is ready to work upon it and go further into her post-graduation. And last year, I received a WhatsApp message from her, ma'am, I've cleared my master's. So this was truly inspiring for me also. Yes, if you are determined, if you are ready to work, the universe works for you. So I don't know how, but she managed to. And at the same time, since I'm sharing this, that I am able to touch upon the various lives of my students, I also want to share here that it is not just the girl students that I work upon. I also work upon the male students. And as we understand today, 8th of March happens to be the Women's Day, International Women's Day. 19th of November happens to be International Men's Day. So when we talk about Women's Day, it is not just empowering women, it is to bring about equality in the society also. So when I teach my students and I sensitize them towards the opposite gender, I teach my students, I talk to the boy students, I try to sensitize them towards the women students, at the same time, the women again towards the males. So this way, I feel that my profession gives me ample of opportunity of nurturing and forming a relationship with my students. And this relationship just doesn't end here. As CMA Lavanya also shared, that the network grows, it multiplies, it moves from one place to another. So that's how I work upon my students. I keep in touch with my students. They say that you need to respect your teacher. I also feel the same, that yes, as a teacher, I also want some respect, but not out of fear, out of respect. I need to work upon the love and affection part of my students so that they respect me as a teacher and they do not respect me out of fear that their marks are with me. No, that is not going to help me and neither my students. So to make them more strong, I work upon understanding their problems, making them do what they want to do, and make them understand the challenges. We all the time have challenges. It is only when we learn to overcome those challenges that we become successful. So with these words, I would want to end here with a small message that let each one of us work towards inspiring our women folk, the students, the girls, so that they become stronger and help in making a stronger society. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. So our next speaker for the session is Dr. Sandeepa Kaur. She's a professor with more than 14 years of teaching experience.
Greetings, everyone. I believe this is the more towards, because some of my learning members have already shared their journeys. So coming next to the professor from Delhi University again, I'm a professor, but I had a little different experience to share here from my journey. So like everybody else, they have their flashbacks into life. So I was born into a business family, where my struggles actually started prior to me actually starting with the struggle. It was my mother who started early with the struggle, because having said I belong to business family, so the taboos of early marrying the daughter or maybe not letting her go for the job was the struggle which she started with. And the entire childhood, I have got a dose from my mother saying that you have to be an independent child in every sphere of your life. So you have to manage your things yourself, and always believe that you would be the person who will be helping others and choosing to make things differently also. So I completed my MBA in the year 2007. So this 2007 was actually a financial crisis, the global financial crisis arena. So my due struggle started because I did my MBA in finance, so I have to handle a financial job which I was looking forward to. So somehow, with a little more struggle, I could manage to actually get a job for myself into the banking domain only. I worked with the credit approving officer, and within 2 years and with 3 promotions, I resigned from this job. And I thought of entering into a newer domain and became a lecturer back then in 2009. So everyone I knew from the banking fraternity, from my relatives, from my friends, they called me a fool. They said, you are leaving such a well-paying job and you are performing with there as well. And in this particular arena, when there was less of jobs in the finance domain, you're still leaving the job of finance. So I opted to become an academician by choice. And this choice was because of two baseline reasons. One was when I was training, I was taking training sessions in the bank also. Like I need to train the team which I was handling, and I need to actually elaborate whatever my credit team has, whatever view we have on the credit proposals, that we need to elaborate to the risk team also. So from these affairs, multiple times these members used to compliment me by saying, you make things so clearer. You make them easier to understand. So you should have been a teacher. So this compliment somehow was actually coming into my head that I could be a good teacher. So let me try it. Then along with this compliment, it was not only the compliment which made me jump into this arena. So there was this compliment. Along with this compliment, my mother somewhat back in that domain, she forcefully filled my UGC NET examination, which was a baseline requirement for becoming a lecturer. And to my surprise also, I cleared it in the first attempt itself. Probably I was studying at that point of time. So that was the time when I filled it, and then I got cleared the UGC NET exam. So these were the two baseline ideas. I thought, let me jump into the academics domain. Let me try to handle it. Let me try to understand whether I'm good at this or not. And any day I can come back to corporate anytime I wish, like, because I have the degree into my category. So I followed my heart. I started with this stuff. Initially, it was a little difficult, but lately, since I was working as a faculty of finance again, and I was working into valuation segment, project appraisals, and then valuation of various companies we've been handling. So along with this, as my fellow professor already mentioned, that we as professors, we handle so many lives all together. So with passing years, I have seen my capabilities more towards life counseling also. And somehow I actually ended up becoming a support system to a large pool of students. And they started calling me. They gave me a tagline saying, you are life transforming coach, which I was not taking initially. I worked for like almost 6 institutions till date. And this tagline was moving from one institution to the other institution. And I was not actually getting attached to it. Some people were giving me this tag, but then we all have seen the duration of COVID also. So I took this on me because I safeguarded a person who was about to commit suicide during 2020. So this was the first lockdown case wherein some people have, in the first lockdown, people were not losing lives at that point of time. But this candidate of mine, he actually lost his brother because he was again a suicidal case. He was preparing for UPSC and it was his last attempt in 2020, which got cancelled because of COVID. So he lost his brother and he was on the verge of actually committing suicide. Luck would have it that some students just reported me and I called him lucky. And he was under such pressure. Somehow I just could manage to actually handle the stuff down. I could manage him to actually understand that this is not the end and we need to actually look upon the better thoughts of life. We need to actually physically move towards the better things. Even during this time of 2020, I joined. Currently, I'm working with Jim Skalkuji. So I joined it during COVID only. So the batch of 2020-22, I hilariously asked some of the students that how do you guys got connected with me? Because we were not physically available with each other. So how do you share a great bond with me? So they always mention that you always have those vibes for us. And then you start working towards that counseling portion. So we get involved into that. And after the societal the case I was discussing about the suicide of this candidate, this was the candidate from Jim Skalkuji itself. So I actually took this opportunity that if I can be a counselor and if I can counsel somebody and help him any way possible, so I should work on this. So after this, I'm currently working as a part-time member with various NGOs where they require life transformation counseling, and whatever their members are there, they open certain sessions also for some of the members. And during this overall process, I myself have evolved that why people understand why things better. It's just that one connect that you need to be non-judgmental when you are asking somebody or when you are trying to counsel somebody, you need to have that non-judgmental behavior. And even, I have started following this non-judgmental behavior into my work life also, into the people I'm handling also. And it has helped me to handle a lot big team, which I was earlier not being handling in the other institutions. I'm handling a big team over here. But with this non-judgmental behavior, when you don't judge people for what they are doing, they're doing it, then you ask them to improvise, then you understand whatever the logic they do have to provide you, you take it or not. That is not problematic, but then for one wrong thing, you do not judge it that they will be always wrong. So that have actually helped me personally also, and in the domain of changing the life of others also. So now I have accepted this. So this domain of academics is always an evolving. This is always a challenging aspect because we as academicians are basically on the toes. We are dealing with up next generation from time to time. Right. So I was the first woman who have been selected for full scholarized portion, wherein I have been the first ever DeFi Talents program, which was organized by Frankfurt School Blockchain Center. So this was a fully scholarized course, and there was only one single woman from India that I have been selected. Probably the things and the with blessings of the people whom I have supported, or maybe God's grace, this is what I have actually explored. And also, I have worked I'm currently working as a nodal officer in this institution also. So for my institution, I'm the first lady who's been handling this position, wherein all the directors have to liaise with my position, and then we need to actually practice it and present it to the outside bodies. So when you are doing something good in some domain, you're bound to get that back into your own, the actual domains also. So in a way, we as the academicians, since we are in the portion wherein we are actually handling so many students, so be it male members, be it female members, we have that foundation on us that we should be transforming their lives. We should be actually involving them and making them evolve towards various segments of their life also. And somehow, somewhere, when they lag down, we should always be a counselor. We should always act as a counselor and provide them a good support towards that. Thank you so much from my side. I hope I tried to little bit touch some of the lives and shared it with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you very much for sharing your experience. Now I take this opportunity to introduce Dr. Anu Bahel. She is currently working as Deputy Dean and Associate Professor at Maharishi Law School. She has vast teaching experience of more than 14 years. Dr. Anu Bahel, madam, please.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. First of all, good evening, good afternoon to one and all present here, and thanks to ICMI Registered Valuers Organization and Gupta ji for organizing this program on the occasion of International Women's Day. As already discussed by Lavanya ji and ma'am, you rightly said that the self-experience is the best for the person. As I'm also agree with the Sandeep Kaur ma'am, who said that academics is, you can say that it's the life person. The day. Basically, as all of you are aware, that changing work environment, including technological advancement, increased global competition, and increase in the availability of opportunities, has brought us significant role in the professional demographic internationally. Basically, right now I'm working as a law right now. I just want to share my few experience. I did my BSc Group A, and then I did my LLB, and after then I took a 10 years gap due to my family member, due to my family. My son was very small. Then again I joined the academics. Then I complete LLM, and then I did my PhD, and I'm continuously working the last 14 years. Right now, I'm also running a think tank, Aegis Research Institute, in which we are going to organize the events, various events for the society. I think as an academician, I think we have an important role for the society. As someone is here CA, someone is CS, someone is doctor, someone is engineer. But due to whom? I think to the academics, due to your teacher. I think the role of teacher is also important. As I think as a female, men and women both can be a good teacher in a family. Right now, I just want to share one thing, that a woman on the International Women's Day, that women is portrayed as a self-sacrificing while performing the roles of the dutiful wife and a doting mother. She is always considered to be dependent on the family members, be it their father, brother, husband.
You are not audible, ma'am.
Sorry to disturb you, madam. May I ask one question? Hello.
Yes, please.
Madam, up to which time it will extend the meeting? The time of meeting?
So Dr. Anu Bahel is the last speaker for the session.
Okay, thank you, madam.
Ma'am, she seems to be disconnected.
I think she's disconnected.
So I think there is some technical problem. She has got disconnected. So thank you very much, all the participants. And it gives me immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this event to all the dignitaries assembled here. I extend a really hearty vote of thanks to all the speakers. And today we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts, and this will surely be going to encourage us in our future endeavors. Thank you very much all. Thank you very much all the participants for attending this program. Thank you.
madam.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.